Welcome to our draft reaction video. It's Luca, Poc, Noah's from Huddle Up, but Eric Hein, also huge football fans. Bills fan, Ravens fan, Dolphins fan, Broncos fan.
Huddle Up fan.
Huddle Up fan. Wow.
Who isn't a Huddle Up fan?
We're reacting to every pick of the NFL draft, and number one, Caleb Williams. No
Shocker.
surprise. They took longer than ever for that to happen, to make it official.
In their defense, they did only know for 4 months that they were taking him.
Sorry. So they needed to
Probably
take
longer
a
than
minute
that.
for each month that they knew.
Yeah.
Which was maybe about the time. Either way, Caleb Williams, we're going to grade the pick later, but just initial thoughts. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears.
This was the pick. This was always the pick.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't blow it.
Yeah.
Was their job, and they did that.
you know what I love about the situation he's going into, though? The fact that they added some playmakers, like Keenan Allen, and they brought in Swift. Like, he's going to actually a decent situation, where a lot of times a quarterback going first overall is going to a bad situation.
It's really the first time in a long time, and I think when you look back at all this, it stems back to that trade with the Panthers a year ago, and how they are picking first overall in the first place is crazy, considering they won, 7 games a year ago, and the fact that the Chicago Bears are a franchise that just has not been able to get it right offensively. They've never had a 4,000-yard passer. They've never had anyone throw 30 touchdowns. In comes Caleb Williams, probably the most highly touted quarterback prospect since Trevor Lawrence,
I would say
Andrew
since
Luck,
Luck,
maybe
man.
even since
Since
Andrew
Andrew
Luck.
Luck, yeah.
Like, this guy's the real deal, and he's got all the arm talent in the world. Now it's time to see if he can't do it in Chicago, then they're just a cursed franchise forever at the quarterback position, because this guy is as good as I've seen.
Well, he looks so excited, obviously, going number one and joining a long lineage of great players that have gone number one. We'll see you at pick number 2. We thinking Jayden Daniels? You guys... I think it's Jayden, but
It's got to be Jayden Daniels.
if I was Washington, I would go Drake Maye.
I think I would too. I just think he's got a higher ceiling, and I'm a little concerned about Jayden, 5-6 year starter in college. He's a little older. He's a little fragile.
Let's count on a bad franchise to do the wrong thing, and let's get
but
J.J.
it's
McCarthy
also,
here.
I also think you can't pin that on them
JJ.
because it's a new era of this
Yeah, I
franchise.
know.
It's a new owner. It's a new GM.
Wow. Here we go.
Whoever gets picked here, they must have just ripped it at Topgolf.
Yeah. Well, apparently Jayden Daniels didn't like the whole QB
Well, because they tiered them,
competition.
too.
Yeah.
Jayden Daniels.
Jayden Daniels. There it is.
Lip reader.
So,
There it is.
I will just say that
First thoughts.
I don't think Jayden Daniels is going to be good, which is kind of crazy because, Drake Maye, I also had, a 50-50. He's either going to be sick or he was not. And just something about Jayden Daniels being in college for 5-6 years scares me. I don't know why it scares me, but it scares me.
Well, he's entering the league as probably the fastest quarterback in the NFL, and the athleticism is there. Here's the thing with watching him in college, and this is a bad thing. The Justin Fields comps are real. He was kind of afraid to use the middle of the field, and he would freelance a little too much. And I don't know, the size worries me a bit too, because I think he weighed in over 200 pounds at the combine, but he played most of the year at LSU around that 200 pounds and below. So there's a lot of questions with him, but Kingsbury can probably just have his dream offense now and do whatever he wants.
I feel like that's the main thing here is the fact that Cliff Kingsbury comes into Washington. This feels like a quarterback that fits the offense that he wants to run, whereas Drake Maye maybe seen a little bit more as a project. I feel like if I'm a team that's going to go out and draft Drake Maye, I don't want him starting year one. I feel like Jayden Daniels, because he's got that experience in college, yes, I think that sort of freelancing element that you were talking about, there's going to need to be an adjustment because you can't do that, especially in the NFC East when you're going up against Micah Parsons, Brian Burns, and a carousel of pass rushers that the Eagles are rolling out. So I don't know. I'm kind of hot and cold on this pick.
See if Drake Maye goes number 3. He's the 3rd quarterback option, but there's also J.J. McCarthy now, so we'll see if a team trades up with New England.
Yeah,
Drake
there it
Maye.
is.
There it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We got quarterbacks. We got Drake Maye, North Carolina.
Last time 3 quarterbacks were the first 3 off the board, it went swimmingly.
Yeah. Remind us who those quarterbacks were.
Trey Lance, traded. Zach Wilson, traded. Trevor Lawrence, think what you want. He's been underwhelming.
Yeah, very
No,
underwhelming.
that's fair.
I think so too. He's got a playoff win, but
He's got a
I
playoff
feel
win.
like he has
That
not.
was more.
Should have been a
that was
playoff
more
loss.
of a. That was more of a loss by the
Yeah,
Chargers
yeah.
than a playoff.
Fair
win.
enough. Totally fair. I will say, this was kind of the pivot point going into the draft where it was like, okay, what's New England going to do at 3? That was the big question. And now you've got Arizona at 4, which becomes even more intriguing with given these 3 quarterbacks going off the board. I love the pick for New England.
I'm a big fan. I like Drake Maye. I hate that he's going in the same division as a Bills fan. I hate to say this. Just reading everything you read, it was just so Josh Allen 2017. Struggles with accuracy, cannon arm, overrated athlete, but I just hope Josh Allen is the outlier, and then this one doesn't work out as well. But when you're playing in the AFC East, where other than Miami, where the sun beams hotter than ever, it's really, really rough conditions, and you need a big guy with big hands and a big arm, and that's what Drake Maye is.
Yeah, I love the ceiling of him. I just think he's got those kind of traits that you can understand why an NFL scout and NFL general manager would really, really fall in love with this guy, because at his best, and I feel like with picks like this, sometimes there's a lot of ego that comes into it where coaches believe in themselves that they can get the best out of these players, because I think if he reaches his ceiling, he can make every single throw on the football field and he can dazzle. He's got the mobility that you like to see in that sort of modern day athlete of a quarterback. And I just think that he's gonna go on to have a nice career in New England.
Whoa!
No way! Excuse me?
Oh.
What the hell just happened?
Why did they just pay Kirk Cousins?
What? What is going on
This
here?
guy's as old as Kirk Cousins. That is
man.
No way!
crazy.
Okay, no way!
I had read Michael Penix's name was gonna fly off the board quickly tonight, but I did not expect.
Guys,
Arthur Blank looks like he doesn't know what just happened.
why are they so happy? What is going on here?
Dude, they're going to come out week 1, and they're going to throw Michael Penix in the slot.
Kirk Cousins must be behind in his rehab. Like, how do you explain this?
You need another weapon to not throw Kyle Pitts the ball.
No, legitimately though, like how, if we're gonna try and rationalize this, like how are we explaining this right
I don't
now?
think you can. I genuinely don't think you
So,
can.
there people had talked about McCarthy going here at 8, saying the Falcons would draft a quarterback.
But why?
It didn't make any sense with what you just paid Kirk Cousins. It doesn't make any sense.
And you just paid Kirk Cousins what? 100 mil for
Yeah.
4 years?
Yes.
So so you're
And it's all
expecting
guaranteed
him
too, isn't it, with Cousins?
So,
What this tells me is what they. Like, are they trying to do the Jordan Love?
no, but that doesn't work in this situation because Kirk Cousins, you're expecting him to be your starter for 4 years. Michael Penix is going to be 30 years old in 4 years.
That's right.
That's also a great point as far as like the youth versus the experience, where this guy's coming in at 26, and JJ McCarthy, if you wanted to go quarterback, go the younger guy.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That guy's going to be semi-retired by the time he takes his first snap.
Like, legitimately though, no, like that's a really, really good point and good way to view it. I don't get it.
I cannot believe this.
I can't believe this just happened.
You're sitting in a situation, you're picking 8th overall. You just went out and got this quarterback who the rest of your roster sees you're in win now mode, and the only thing holding you back was quarterback play. You go out and you get a veteran, Kirk Cousins, established, someone that you know can get you to the playoffs. It's a very winnable division. You now have a 3-year window. You got to maximize that roster. And the fact that you were blessed to be in a year where through 7 picks, not one single defensive player was taken.
Yeah.
You have your pick of the lot, whoever you want. Pass rush, corner, whatever, and they need pass rush. And you go out and you take Michael Penix Jr., the 4th quarterback taken at 8th overall, when you just handed out the richest contract of free agency to a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. I can't, they're just allergic to drafting.
Rich McKay only wants 7-on-7 guys.
If you're a Minnesota fan, this is like best case scenario. You didn't give up that extra first round pick that you got from Houston that everyone thought you might have to give up to get a quarterback. You still get a quarterback, and like, say what you want about JJ McCarthy, but like, that offense is great. It's a great place to drop him into. Doesn't have to start right away. And you still get pick 23.
Which
Yeah,
you can then
JJ.
maybe, yeah, there it is, JJ.
JJ McCarthy. There it is. Wow. So there's one quarterback left. It's Bo Nix for the Broncos and Raiders to fight over.
5
I will
quarterbacks.
lose my mind. The Broncos might get the pick of the litter of any defensive player they want, which is crazy at pick number 12. And they still might not pick him. And the Raiders might not pick a defensive player. Like, there's a scenario in which we don't see an offensive player for maybe the first, or a defensive player rather, for the first 16 picks.
I can't
I'm
believe
stunned.
what's going on
This is
right
crazy.
Those 3 things don't line up.
Oh, I
None of
hate
those
that.
mesh together.
I hate
Winner
that.
and Alex Smith don't go together.
I hate that the number one tick with JJ McCarthy is winner. Like, it's like he did it all. If you watch Michigan, He did not do it all.
He threw the ball 4 times.
Did you
I
like that
think
pick-
you guys
that-
are being a little hard on Jayden McCarthy. I genuinely think
I don't think he's bad.
after watching a lot of his and like you said, you gotta scour through a lot of footage because like
There's not a
Don't
lot
even
out
bother
he
putting the
hasn't
Penn
thrown
State
a lot.
tape on.
But I think he is someone, and we talked about how important landing spots are for these guys, and I think the Vikings are surely the number one landing spot in terms of situation for a quarterback. You're going in and you're getting Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkins and Aaron Jones, like plus an offensive coach and Kevin O'Connell. So J.J. McCarthy, yeah, I don't see the ceiling, but if you want someone to just operate an offense, run things smoothly, and manage a game, I think he can be that guy, and I think he can do it well.
But
It just seems like a pick to save your butt right now to me. Because, like, yeah, like, sure, it's a good fit. He's going to come in. He's going to be fine. Is that worth a 10th overall pick? Is that worth trading up for a 10th overall pick for a guy
Quarterbacks
that
are hard to
could
find.
be good?
Quarterbacks are hard to find, and I mean, they said his pro comparison to Alex Smith. If you give me Alex Smith quarterback play for 12 years,
no, but that's
you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
you're
but
going to win games.
You're going to be
be
stuck.
competitive.
You're going to playoffs. Alex Smith 2-2 career playoff record, or 2-4 career playoff record, or something like that. You're not winning anything significant with that. This pick reminds me of Mac Jones. You were on a great team that won a lot, but you were not the reason that you won a lot at all. It's just hard to really see. What is J.J. McCarthy going to be as an NFL quarterback?
I like him as a prospect more than Mac Jones. I think he's more athletic. I think he
that's
has
fair.
more in his arsenal in terms of the types of throws
Guy never
that he
hit
makes.
3,000 yards once in a college season. Like, that's at some point you got to look at those numbers. Like, that's a real number.
I get it. I do.
I think he can run an efficient scheme where he's getting the ball out quickly. He's very good over the middle of the field, which Justin Jefferson really likes to operate there. Plus, you get I really like the fit here. If you went to another team, I would have more concern. But I like the fit, and you talked about, Alex Smith getting to the playoffs and not winning. You know how many owners in the NFL would kill for just their team to be in the playoffs every year? There's value in being relevant and being competitive, and I think he puts you in the right direction to do that. And
So-
if I'm a Vikings fan right now, I'm feeling good about the trajectory of my franchise.
If I'm an owner who wants to make money going 9-8, sure, give me J.J. McCarthy. But I just don't think you win anything real with him.
I think-
You mentioned earlier about Gardner Minshew. Go get Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew can run an offense. Gardner Minshew can use the middle of the field.
But I think the reality of the situation, though, is if you're Minnesota and didn't do this, then where are you at? At least with this, there's some promise and some projection that he could grow into something that, okay, maybe he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL ever, but if he's top 15, given the weapons you have, it's not just easy to be punt on this year and then you're gonna finish bad next year and you get a top guy. Bryce Young is the perfect example of why that thinking just doesn't work sometimes.
But I think the other side of that coin is not punting on this year can mean you're now punting 3 years down the line. You're going to have to completely reset your entire franchise.
I'd rather
Justin
do
Jefferson's
that,
going to
though.
leave because he's this guy's a bum. And
I
you're
think
going to
that's
lose a
fair. He
ton
just
of
got
things.
drafted.
Yeah.
The guy just got
But
drafted.
I think more so to your, I'm not ready to say he's going to be a bum. He could be a good quarterback. More so to your point, though, Luca, of I don't think you should draft a guy to only be one of the 15 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
And
if
a
he's top
10.
15, yeah.
For sure, but I think the Panthers drafted Bryce Young to be one of the 15 best quarterbacks in the NFL, and
I don't think
he
that's
may never
why
be.
they didn't draft him to be top 15.
Bo Nix.
No way!
These quarterbacks, are you kidding me?
Why? I just want to know why.
Oh my!
I just want to
Picture
know
this.
why.
Picture this. Picture this. 3 months from now, you hear on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, the QB battle in Denver's heating up. Bo Nix, Zachy Wilson. It's coming down to the wire.
And
Who's going to be
Benvenucci.
the week 1 starter?
Ben DiNucci too, man. Don't sleep on Ben DiNucci.
I'm so sad. This is so underwhelming.
What is going on with this
A
draft?
26-year-old guy that played and fine. What you put up yards and this is what we were just talking about. They're in more of a win now mode than ever, and that's why I understand them doing this. And I'm sure ownership and Sean Payton worked hand in hand on this because Sean Payton is not going to sit around for a rebuild. He's not in the business of rebuilding after all that money you gave him. He wants to win. He doesn't have the patience for that. That ownership group doesn't have the patience for that. So I get why they took Bo Nix. Watching him, I can talk myself into it a little bit, being sure, Sean Payton, great quarterback guy, he can work with him. I'm sure he got the best out of Russell Wilson in a really bad situation last year. hasn't had a rookie quarterback to work with since.
Well, this is pretty much like getting a vet, not really like a rookie based
I
on
guess
age.
so, but
Yeah.
this is. I like some of the stuff he did at Oregon as far as like. I don't think he was asked to throw down the field as much as he probably
At
could have.
all. He never. Dude, he had like that close to 80% completion percentage,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of underneath stuff
Oh,
at
for
the line
sure.
in and around the line of scrimmage.
But I think there's a little bit of, and I'm not saying his arm is anywhere comparable to Justin Herbert's in that sense, but I think there is a bit of that shelteredness as far as how he played at Oregon, where if he was asked to air out the ball a little more, I think he could do it. I think he can handle that. So that's where I'm a little excited about it. But at the same time, I'm just like, this is the fifth best quarterback. I think. Like I think I would have rather had Penix, and I'm just, if you're a Broncos fan, I feel like you have every right to be disappointed in this until you see the fruit of having Sean Payton. This is why you pay a coach like him all that money to turn a quarterback like this into a viable player.
I'm so torn on Nix just because I remember so vividly how bad he looked at so many moments at Auburn against SEC defenses, which is the closest thing we'll see to an NFL defense. And then he goes to Oregon, and he really lights it up and really had a great year. But like all of these guys had those, like Caleb Williams started at Oklahoma, had rough go, transferred. All these guys kind of transferred. So I don't know why myself I'm punishing Nix for
As
things
much?
that I didn't
No, I
punish the other
get it.
guys. It's just because when his first read went away when he was at Auburn, it looked ugly. But at Oregon, they coached him up. They gave him kind of more layups in terms of passes around the line of scrimmage, and he thrived in that system. So to your point, I think Sean Payton can maybe work with him. It just seems crazy to me that he went to number 12.
I think that's what Sean Payton probably loved about him, is seeing the accuracy and how that improved from what he was at Auburn.
Like literally almost 80%. That's insane. He led the nation.
You think of Sean Payton, you think of Drew Brees, the most accurate
Yep.
quarterback in NFL history, arguably. Broke the completion percentage record at
Yep.
some point. Like, he is the perfect Sean Payton quarterback in that sense, so I understand it. I guess I'm just not happy about it. Seeing all those defensive players there, I would have liked to see them go in that direction, but they are not in a position with as many voices as they have in that room to have patience right now, and I understand it. They haven't made the playoffs in 8 years.